Ulysses S. Grant's life is a gripping tale of grit and redemption. A shy, small-town boy who rose to save a nation only to wrestle with personal demons and betrayal. Picture him at Vicksburg, outsmarting the enemy to turn the civil wars, tied or penniless and dying, pouring his soul into memoirs to secure his family's future. His heart beat fiercely for his wife Julia and their children, yet he faced crushing loneliness, financial ruin, and whispers of alcoholism. Story hooks you with its raw humanity, a flawed hero who, against all odds, stood tall when it mattered most. Want to dive deeper into his triumphs or struggles? Military career and war details. Early military career, West Point and early service. Born Hiram Ulysses Grant on April 27, 1822, in Point Pleasant, Ohio. Grant entered the U.S. Military Academy at West Point in 1839, where a clerical error listed him as Ulysses S. Grant, a name he adopted. He graduated in 1843, ranking 21st in a class of 39. Grant served in the Mexican-American War, 1846 to 1848, under Generals Zachary Taylor and Winfield Scott, earning praise for bravery and logistical skill, particularly at the Battle of Monterrey. And during the Siege of Veracruz, he received 2 brevets for gallantry. Post-war struggles. After the war, Grant served in various posts, but struggled with isolation and financial hardship. Stationed in California in 1854, he resigned from the Army amid rumors of heavy drinking, likely exacerbated by separation from his family. He returned to civilian life, working as a farmer, real estate agent, and clerk. With limited success, Civil War, 1861 to 1865, Grant's military career soared during the Civil War, where he emerged as the Union's most successful general. His strategic brilliance, tenacity, and willingness to engage in total war were instrumental in defeating the Confederacy. Western Theater 1861 to 1863 returned to service when the Civil War broke out. Grant rejoined the Army, initially as a colonel of the 21st Illinois Volunteer Infantry. His early leadership in Missouri and Illinois showed promise. Battle of Fort Donelson, February 1862, Grant's first major victory came at Fort Donelson, Tennessee, where he captured a Confederate stronghold. His demand for unconditional and immediate surrender earned him the nickname Unconditional Surrender Grant and a promotion to Major General. Battle of Shiloh, April 1862. At Shiloh, Grant's forces were surprised by a Confederate attack. Despite heavy losses, over 13,000 Union casualties, Grant rallied his troops and, with reinforcements, secured a victory on the second day. The battle's high casualties drew criticism, but President Lincoln defended him, saying, "I can't spare this man. He fights." Vicksburg Campaign, 1862 to 1863, Grant's masterpiece was the capture of Vicksburg, Mississippi, which gave the Union control of the Mississippi River, splitting the Confederacy. After a series of maneuvers and battles, Jackson Champion Hill, Grant besieged Vicksburg for 6 weeks, forcing its surrender on July 4, 1863. This victory, alongside Gettysburg, marked a turning point in the war. Chattanooga Campaign, November 1863. Appointed commander of the Western Theater, Grant led Union forces to victory at Chattanooga, Tennessee, breaking a Confederate siege. His success at Lookout Mountain and Missionary Ridge solidified his reputation. Eastern Theater and commanding General 1864 to 1865, promotion to Lieutenant General. In March 1864, Lincoln appointed Grant General Lynchief of all Union armies, a rank previously held only by George Washington. Grant devised a coordinated strategy to attack the Confederacy on multiple fronts. Overland Campaign, May-June 1864, facing Robert E. Lee's Army of Northern Virginia. Grant launched a brutal campaign in Virginia. Key battles included Battle of the Wilderness, May 5 to 7, 1864, a bloody stalemate with heavy casualties. Union, approximately 18,000. Confederate, approximately 11,000. Unlike previous Union generals, Grant refused to retreat, pressing forward. Spotsylvania Courthouse, May 8 to 21, 1864, another costly engagement. Union, approximately 18,000 casualties, marked by intense fighting at the Bloody Angle. Cold Harbor, June 1 to 12, 1864. A disastrous frontal assault led to 7,000 Union casualties in a single day, which Grant later regretted. Siege of Petersburg. June 1864-1865. Unable to capture Richmond directly, Grant besieged Petersburg, a key Confederate supply hub. The 9-month siege wore down Lee's army through trench warfare and attrition. Appomattox Campaign, April 1865. After Petersburg fell, Grant pursued Lee's retreating army. On April 9, 1865, Lee surrendered at Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia, effectively ending the Civil War. Grant's generous terms allowed Confederate soldiers to return home with their horses and sidearms, fostering reconciliation, military strategy, and impact total war. Grant embraced a strategy of relentless pressure and attrition, targeting not just Confederate armies but their economic and logistical resources. He coordinated with General William T. Sherman, whose march to the sea devastated the South's infrastructure. Leadership style. Grant was known for clear orders, logistical mastery, and a calm demeanor under pressure. His willingness to accept high casualties, while controversial, reflected his understanding that the Union's superior resources could outlast the Confederacy. Casualty estimates. The Civil War saw approximately 620,000 to 750,000. Total deaths, Union and Confederate. Grant's campaigns, particularly in 1864 to 1865, contributed significantly to Union casualties. For example, Overland Campaign, approximately 55,000 Union losses, but his strategy secured victory. Post-Civil War military role General of the Army. After the war, Grant was promoted to General of the Army 4-star rank in 1866. He oversaw Reconstruction efforts and managed tensions with President Andrew Johnson over Southern policy. Personal life, early life, and family childhood. Grant grew up in a modest family in Ohio, the son of Jesse Root Grant, a tanner, and Hannah Simpson Grant. He was shy, reserved, and skilled with horses, a talent that served him in the military. Education. At West Point, Grant excelled in mathematics and horsemanship, but was indifferent to military pomp. His reserved nature earned him few close friends, but he formed lasting bonds with peers like James Longstreet. Marriage and family. Julia Dent. Grant married Julia Dent in 1848, the sister of a West Point classmate. Their marriage was a cornerstone of his life, marked by deep affection. Julia, from a slaveholding Missouri family, supported Grant through his struggles, including his drinking and financial woes. They had 4 children. Frederick Dent Grant, 1852-1912, became a military officer and diplomat. Ulysses S. Grant, Jr., 1852-1929, a lawyer and investor. Ellen Nellie Grant, 1855-1922, married twice, including to an English diplomat. Jesse Root Grant, 1858-1934, a businessman and minor politician. Family life. Grant was a devoted husband and father, though his military and political duties often kept him away. Julia's presence stabilized him, particularly during his presidency. Struggles and character drinking allegations. Grant faced persistent rumors of alcoholism, particularly during his pre-Civil War years and early in the war. While he likely drank excessively at times, for example, during lonely postings in the 1850s. Historians debate the extent of his drinking during the Civil War. His staff, including John Rawlins, helped keep him disciplined. Financial hardship. Before and after the war, Grant struggled financially. His farming ventures failed, and in the 1880s, he was swindled by a business partner, Ferdinand Ward, leaving him bankrupt. Personality. Grant was modest, unpretentious, and stoic. He disliked public speaking and preferred simple habits, such as smoking cigars, a habit that later contributed to his death. His memoirs reveal a sharp intellect and reflective nature. Later, life and death memoirs. Diagnosed with throat cancer in 1884, likely from years of cigar smoking, Grant faced financial ruin. To provide for his family, he wrote his personal memoirs of U.S. Grant, completed just days before his death on July 23, 1885, published by Mark Twain. The memoirs were a critical and commercial success, praised for their clarity and insight. Death. Grant died at age 63 in Wilton, New York. His funeral in New York City drew massive crowds, and his tomb, Grant's tomb, became a national monument. Presidency, 1869 to 1877. While not the focus of your request, Grant's presidency is relevant. To his life, his administration focused on Reconstruction, enforcing civil rights for freed slaves, and stabilizing the post-war economy. However, it was marred by corruption scandals. For example, Whiskey Ring, Credit Mobilier, though Grant himself was not personally implicated. His efforts to protect African American rights, including supporting the 15th Amendment and using federal troops to suppress the Ku Klux Klan, were significant but faced resistance. Ulysses S. Grant was a military genius whose leadership in the Civil War secured the Union's victory through battles like Fort Donelson, Vicksburg, and Appomattox. His strategy of attrition and coordination broke the Confederacy. Personally, he was a devoted family man who faced financial and personal struggles, including battles with alcoholism and bankruptcy. Your ultimate destination for powerful stories, historic battles, and fearless military leaders who shaped the world. Whether you're passionate about history, strategy, or modern warfare, Military Legends HQ is where bravery meets knowledge. Subscribe and join our growing army of military history fans.